Hello, I'm joined today by attorney Brian Bromberg of the Bromberg Law Office, and we're going to learn about more of the practice areas he works within to help consumers. Brian, thank you for being with us today. Can you tell us more about the practice areas of your firm?
Well, I handle a number of different kinds of consumer protection matters. I help people when they're being sued on old debts. I help people when they're being abused by debt collectors. I help people when they're dealing with identity theft situations, when they've been ripped off by car dealers, when they're dealing with ceaseless, endless calls that are being robo-dialed to their cell phones. So there are a number of different areas where I try to help people.
And they all stem from the idea of consumer protection, helping protect the little guy, often against the big guy.
Yes.
Can we talk a little bit about debt lawsuits? You mentioned debt lawsuit. What is a debt lawsuit and how is a consumer made aware of it?
Well, frequently people get sued on debts that are 4 or 5 years old, debts that they had no idea about, debts that have changed hands. They've been sold from the original creditor to a debt buyer, presumably, who then claims the right to collect on the debt. And the consumer walks in, they have no idea what's going on. Sometimes it's the result of identity theft. Sometimes it's a debt that they thought had been paid off. Sometimes it's not even them. Sometimes they've got, John Smith mixed up with another John Smith, or David Cohn mixed up with another David Cohn. It happens all the time. And the way they first become aware of it frequently is through a lawsuit. Through a lawsuit being brought by a company that claims to have bought the debt after 3 or 4 people in between, and now claims the right to collect on it. Sometimes they find out about it years later, 10 years later, when all of a sudden their bank account is frozen, or their wages are being garnished, or their employer's been contacted. And frequently that's because there's a default judgment. They were never properly served, and they were taken to court, never properly served, and a judgment is obtained without them knowing anything about it.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, people often hear or learn that they might have a default judgment when they try to do a different activity, get a loan from a bank, buy a house, purchase a car. If they had a default judgment that they weren't aware of, when they tried to do that, that might make them aware? If someone was running their credit report or doing a background check on them to check their financial worthiness, they might uncover a default judgment on someone?
Absolutely. And it may or may not belong to them. And it may be someone completely unrelated. It could be a judgment that was vacated and it was paid off. And frequently it'll still be on the credit report because the credit reporting agencies didn't properly investigate it and didn't properly take it off.
So if someone finds themselves a party to a debt lawsuit, if they're being sued by a debt collector, they should speak with an experienced attorney like you.
Oh, absolutely.
And what's your primary advice to them for how they should prepare for this?
Immediately pick up the phone, call an experienced lawyer, call someone who's been doing this stuff for years. I've been a lawyer now, oh my gosh, almost 30 years. You want someone who's got experience, someone who knows the New York court system, someone who knows how to litigate these kinds of cases. So immediately get on the phone, pick up the phone, call. Also, if your bank account has been frozen, pick up the phone, call a lawyer, find someone experienced. Whether you hire me or not, just get on the phone. These things, if you don't act fast, it could have very big repercussions. Other things, you may find out your wages are being garnished. Don't sit on your hands. Pick up the phone, call an experienced lawyer. Whether it's me or someone else, just pick up the phone and call.
Okay, I think that's very helpful. We're going to take a quick pause, and then I want to ask you a little bit about debt collector abuse. When individuals find that now they're being harassed by a debt collector, or in the context of a lawsuit, the debt collector may be breaking the law in how they try to collect. So I'd like to ask you about that in just one moment.
All right. Hi, I'm Brian Bromberg of the Bromberg Law Office. I've been fighting for consumers for almost 20 years. Whether you are dealing with debt-related issues such as lawsuits, judgments, or creditor harassment, or if you've had your identity stolen or are receiving robocalls, we can help. At our law firm, our job is defending consumer rights, and we've been doing just that since 1999. Contact us to set up a free consultation. We will carefully explain all of your options to you so you can make the best possible decision for your situation.